everybody. Today I have another layout for you featuring a photo of my grandson, and I pulled a bunch of papers from the Echo Park Little Man collection, and I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with these. Sometimes when I start I have at least an idea of how I'm going to use the papers, but I just pulled a bunch of them that I thought went together and I started cutting. So that first paper there that I grabbed, which is the orange paper with the stars there, is called Blocks, and again it's from Echo Park Little Man, and I'm going to cut that into a photo mat for the paper. And I pulled that envelope because I sort of liked the craft part, and it's too bad, but this border, there was a cute saying about something about a boy and I'm his mom. I can't read it on my screen, but anyway, and I went looking. What I'm doing right now is I'm looking to see if I have another sheet of this paper, because if I do, I want to use that border. But unfortunately, I didn't. So I have to come up with another idea. And I'm just pulling other papers that I think might work with this to see what else I could do. And I have this chopped off piece from another Echo Park Boy collection. I don't remember what it was called, but I thought about using that on this sheet as well, but I didn't like the green lines and the green straight lines and the diagonal lines all together there. So I'm going to abandon that idea. And then I'm trying to figure out, let's see, can I use that blue paper in that way? Would that work? And I think, no, I don't really like that idea. And I think, oh, I kind of like this, where the green is for the bottom. So I cut this strip, and this is so funny. I cut this strip and then go back to see if I could figure out how to use that border paper again. And then I decide, okay, still not sure what I'm going to do here, but I'm going to cut the border strip off the navy dot paper. And as I do this, I forget about the green paper, what I was going to do with the green paper with that strip across the bottom, and I go back to using the idea of using a diagonal on the page with that blue paper. That blue paper is called the Echo Park Little Man. It's the Icons paper, and the navy polka dot is also from Little Man, and it's the Airplanes paper. So it's just so funny, you know, I'd had that green paper cut and then totally forgot about it. So what I'm going to do is, I like this, the angle of the stripe paper, even though I didn't like the stripe paper for this particular layout. So what I'm going to do is, I was thinking about taking that to my trimmer and cutting it, but it just would have been too hard. I have a hard time lining up my trimmer exactly. So I decided to draw that line, and I drawn the line, so I thought, what the heck, I'm just going to cut it. Even if it's not completely even, part of this will be hidden by the photo block, so you won't see it quite as easily. And then I go back and I find that green paper again and decide, oh, this would make a cute border here. So that's what I'm going to do. And now I need to engineer it to figure out what am I going to do so that the border's the correct size. And I kind of play with it, and then I just cut it, because there's blocks on the back of this, so they provide a semi-straight line for me. And then I'll just pull that. I'm going to put that down in the corner, because then I can slip the green paper underneath however I want or need to do that. So now I'm going to play, because I know that this doesn't go all the way across, and how am I going to make that happen? I pop the picture down there because I know that needs to cover. And the picture is a little message that my daughter-in-law wrote on Facebook, not necessarily to him for another purpose, but she did it on a picture of him because he epitomizes these three things, which is love big, have fun, and be curious. And I just thought, what a great way to document who he is right now, and from his mom's words, which is a cool thing. So I scrapbook a lot about my grandson, and right now I have all the layouts, but eventually he will have all the layouts, or they will have all the layouts, and he has a younger brother, and they'll have those as well too. They know that I pull these off and that kind of stuff from time to time too, besides the pictures that I take when I'm with him. All right, so now I have that down, And I really like the way that looks. I love the background, you know, blue and orange are complementary colors, so that's kind of a cool thing. So I'm just kind of trying to figure out, and I thought about using that guy on the skateboard. That was my original plan, but he just was a little bit too frivolous for this layout. So I go grab that, the back of that borders paper, and it is actually called, the blue grid paper there is called Border Strips, and it is from the Little Man collection as well. And I use that because I think that will be a great addition to this layout. It's in the background. It's not quite so big and crazy looking. So now I'm kind of playing with where I'm going to place that block, and I grabbed some L Studio cut aparts from the Cameron collection that I have there, and I was toying with using this because back to the idea, I like the idea of the craft on the page, but that craft envelope is no longer going to work, at least in my mind's eye. So I thought about, or my mind, my mind's eye. Anyway, thought about using this sheet here that says Happy Times, but there's really not a lot of yellow in it, and there's no other craft on that anymore, and I don't know that I'm going to be putting more craft on that. So I am now searching for some other idea, and I'm thinking, well, maybe I could do craft and wood veneer together. And I have these wood veneers that I've had forever. I had to have them. They came from the Brighton Pier collection, and I think I may have only ever used one. So I looked and I found these two, and this is a great opportunity to get two of these on a page. So one says XO and the other one says Shine. So they're from Studio Calico Brighton Pier. And then I decided, okay, so I have a wood veneer on two sides. I don't have room for another one of the words, but maybe I could somehow do an arrow pointing to the words on the picture, because that's what this is all about. And so I go back through, and these are arrows are from Freckled Fawn. So I'm finding arrows, and they are actually, the arrows that are right there are from Heidi Swap collection, but they weren't the right kind of arrows. So I went back and I found some other arrows, and these are the arrows right there that are from Freckled Fawn. And now I have to go back and find an arrow because I didn't have a third arrow. So I like how that really highlights the text on the photo and gets the message across, because the actual title for this is not Shine or XO, it's Love Big. So it kind of highlights that. And sometimes your titles can be titles just to yourself. It doesn't matter, because I'm pretty sure that my grandson is not going to go through later and say, oh my gosh, look at Grandma called this Love Big, and really it should be Shine or XO. He won't even know the title of this layout, actually, and nor does it really matter. So now I'm going to take my ATG and put it on the back of that wood veneer, and that it'll hold it down really well. This is an interesting wood veneer because there are holes through it, and it's made in a way that it looks like there's a shadow to it, although there really isn't. And there we go. So those two pieces are on, and now I'm going to take my ATG and get the arrows down there. I'll use 3 of them because that, you know, in threes, and it highlights that. So now I have a triangle of wood veneer going around the layout. I had a little bit of a hard time getting them. They're not exactly the same size. They're close, but I lined up the bottom portion of the arrow just so that, or the back of the head of the arrow, I guess it would be. And now I'm just getting edges glued down and the picture, and I realized that I didn't remember what the date of that was, so I had to look on the back of the picture, because I write the dates of whenever the picture was taken and any title ideas on the back of the picture with a slick writer. Now I'm thinking I want something up in that upper left hand corner, plus I like the idea of using that the orange date piece right there, and I play around with this for quite a bit before I actually abandon that orange date piece. And I like that little circle, but the colors were not quite right and it was too big. I'm going to play around with quite a few things before I eventually figure out. So I had that rough and tough banner, which, you know, would describe him, but not exactly appropriate. And I did like the fact that it brought the green up in there. So that's where I'm going to end up going eventually with this, is a green idea. But it's going to take a while for me to find it. So I'm going through all of my Cameron cutouts and some even more different pieces from Al Studio. I also go back to my sticker sheets from, I think it's called That's My Boy. I think that's what those stickers are. Just to see, and I'm playing with, because I don't know what to do with the top left. I'm thinking about, do I want something on the top of that journaling card to kind of help take up some space there? I'm definitely struggling a little bit here. I'm just not finding what I want until I find this little arrow from Bella Boulevard, and it says Playdate. And that Playdate sticker, arrow sticker, is from the Tiny Tots collection, the Trinkets sheet. So now I like that, or it says Playday, not Playdate, because they were on a really cool nature hike when these pictures were taken. So now I want something up there, and I'm trying to decide, do I want another arrow or what do I do? And what I'm going to eventually do is settle on some wood veneer stars, and a star to start out with. And then I like the idea of, see, I'm still playing with the arrows. I like the idea of the star up there when it gets there. Not finding the right arrow. I like the idea of that star, but now it looks funny because there's only one on the whole layout. So I grab a few more and I start to sprinkle them around the layout to kind of bring everything together. And I like how that, you know, the wood now is all over and not just in that one spot. And then the next dilemma is, now how do I get this on? So I grab my Scotch quick dry adhesive, which I keep in the fine line bottle. And that star up there on the Playday is going to give me a bit of trouble. It just did not want to stay on there. Everything else pretty much did. And one of the problems is I didn't hold it down fast enough. So I think when I started putting pressure on it, it was too late. So more Scotch quick dry. And now I have to try to put that top back in, which is always the fun part about it, but not that bad. So I'm holding that down even more, holding all the other stars down even more. And try to hold that down. And then I don't even realize that it has stuck to my finger. So I grab my micro dots, my glue dots, micro dots, and just put that one down with that. The rest of them stayed on there just fine. I didn't have any problems with, but that one was really stubborn. So I am just about done except for the journaling here. So again, I just wrote, a message that this was from his mom, and that just our hopes for him, that we all hope that he does love big, that he has fun, that he's curious, and then I added that he, that I want him to dream as well too, which, it so epitomizes him now, and what a cool thing to keep into your adulthood. So that's what this page is really about here. So I'm just about finished, as I said. I'm going to finish the journaling and put the date on. At the end, you'll see the still shot and a couple of detail shots of all of the pieces here. I hope you're having a great day. Bye!